Our story begins in Royston, Glasgow, 1992. Shell suits are in, Iron Brew costs 30 pence, and a small group of women are setting up the Royston Stress Centre as an alternative to tranquilisers and antidepressants.
Royston was quite a deprived area then. It was mostly alcohol, not so much drugs then, not so much drugs. To me it was still a good area and it was good people in it. I was on tranquilisers and the doctors were taking you off, you were experiencing withdrawal, terrible symptoms, what have you. So the community service in Glenbar Street, we applied for urban aid funding for alternative therapies. We got the funding and then we got the staff.
It was just felt like the ideal job. So I applied and I got it. To my surprise, actually, because I remember Isabel and Mary were the two kind of very active members of a very small committee that got the money for the project. Didn't like my handwriting on the form and was going on and on about what a scribble it was. I've got terrible handwriting.
No, I'm glad it was Leslie. I'm glad it was Leslie. It was a CEO. I'm glad it was her.
The first 6 months was really all of that development, getting ourselves known, talking to people about what the service might look like, building up the committee a little bit.
And then we got premises, which was in Charles Street, but it was porter cabins. It wasn't a house, it was just porter cabins, right?
I think it was Lily's building contractor's car park off Charles Street, and we actually offered our first services from there. Our first counselling and therapeutic massage was offered from that porta cabin in the car park.
Cut to 1996. You might remember it as the year of the Spice Girls' breakthrough hit, Wannabe. For us, however, it was the year we finally became an official charity and a limited company.
At the beginning, we took out quite a lot of time to talk through, what we were hoping to achieve. If we're going to offer a non-medical, more holistic model of health that looks at the whole of a person's life, what are you hoping to achieve at the end of that?
You can't help somebody if they're up to their eyeballs in debt or whatever, but you can help them cope better in what they're doing and ease their stress.
Obviously, there was a little bit of scepticism. I mean, this was regarded as a bit like, is this the new age hippies on the hill type of thing?
And to get people through the door was really hard because people were scared in case other people seen them get in.
Although there was scepticism about what we were offering, people were interested and open to, they recognised the problems that the community suffered from.
We petitioned in Royston for people to support us because we thought we're going to get closed down, and we did get more funding and they did keep us open.
Fast forward to 1997, the year of the Scottish devolution referendum and the year we secured a service level agreement with the NHS to open a new stress centre in Possil Park.
Well, we had to start from scratch with Possil. We had to start with a management committee, we had to start with therapists, and also a CEO or equivalent to that.
It came to my knowledge a year down the line, but the older people were using it as a club. I go here on a Monday, I go to the stress centre and get a massage, and that's when we started looking at the drug aspect of it, of women on tranquilisers.
I think Possil was a very community spirited place and lots of active women and community members doing the best that they could for that area. And so they approached Royston. They looked at how Royston was set up and with the management of Royston, set up a duplicate service.
Oh, Carol came I think she came as an admin worker, and she was quite bubbly.
We ran stress management workshops for teenage children going in to do their exams, and that was in North Glasgow, and we got lots of really good feedback from that, and so we got more and more approaches like that, and that sort of stimulated the idea for developing a youth service, and I think that came to fruition in 2000.
The year 2000 arrived and the Y2K bug failed to bite. The new millennium ushered in a series of successes, winning contracts left, right and centre, from South Lanarkshire's Up For It project to Barlinnie Prison's stress management services. Jackie Shakely, a local teacher, approached us with the idea of offering stress management services to teens, and before long we'd set up youth stress centres in St Roch's, All Saints and Springburn Academy.
So we were keeping all the funding going for the range of services we were delivering across the city. We were developing the youth service and getting that spread out as far as we could. There were other approaches from other local areas to get the youth service, so those were then developed.
It snowballed. And at one point, I think I had to say to Leslie that I felt we're taking on too much.
In the 2000s, we brought in the single session. And when single session came in, it validated that one session could be enough. There was uproar in the community because people were saying, oh, you only get one session now, you know, and it was very misunderstood.
We tried our best, but you can only do so much. You can't do everything, you know what I mean?
2004 saw the dramatic return of Doctor Who, the birth of Facebook and the Lifelink crisis intervention programme at Royston Stress Centre. Following this, we secured funding through the Big Lottery Fund, as well as a range of stress management contracts across Glasgow. We made sure that the decade ended with a bang, merging the Royston Stress Centre with the Maryhill and Possil branches under the new brand Lifelink.
I mean, there was a lot of debate about that because some of the original people were still on the board and were very attached to where the service came from. But it just didn't seem to fit anymore because we had a number of services across the city.
All the centres I worked for, Maryhill, Possil, Royston, Govan, you know, they all merged into Lifelink.
I think from the beginning it was like one person that would do reception, telephonists, referrals, books, to now there was a whole business customer service team support.
And then Isabel was feeling very well, so she left.
Well, I gave them 18 years. They gave me hope. They gave me friendship. They gave me ways or tools, whatever, to try and cope with things. And I was very grateful for them.
It's 2010 now, and Lifelink has, in one form or another, been around for 2 whole decades. Scotland has survived its heaviest snow in 30 years, and we were shaking things up with our new computerised client management system and holistic service model. New opportunities arose in the form of citywide contracts in Glasgow and a new market in offering employee counselling services, as well as community-based youth contracts to complement school services. In 2013, Leslie Benzie stepped down from her role and Jackie Taylor applied for the post as new Chief Executive.
I love a challenge, absolutely love a challenge, well known for it actually. And I thought, you know, I could do that, I could really make a difference in there.
Yeah, watching Jackie when she first came, she watched and she was watching and I always wondered, what is she thinking, you know?
Leslie, the previous chief exec, had left some 5 or 6 months earlier. So it was an organisation that lacked direction. But I knew that staff, frontline staff, were actually crying out for somebody to come in and shake the whole thing up.
She quickly, very quickly started to, come on, let's turn this around.
They were a bit nervous about who is Jackie and she might not understand what we do. She's not a counsellor. You know, why did she get the job?
I remember someone shouting out, Jackie, come on, we're all having lunch, come and have lunch. No time, you know, and just firing away just to, she saw there was an immense amount of work to be done.
2015 to 16 was a busy time for Lifelink. Hotline Bling was the sound of the summer and we secured several important contracts. Not only did we become an accredited living wage employer, we were even awarded Hilton Glasgow's Charity of the Year for our work with young people. After all this hard work, we felt the company deserved a new head office in the south side of Glasgow and rebranded to the logo that we use today.
We needed to look at the premises that we had. They weren't really fit for purpose. We were growing as an organisation and we had to look at those.
I couldn't really see the whole thing about travelling from Postle Park to here. It wasn't very good, so I decided that it was in safe hands with Jackie.
When I joined, it was really on the up. It was Jackie, the chief executive. She'd been in place for a number of years. I'd been working with her sort of prior to joining the board in terms of reorganisation, etc.
So I worked really closely with Stephen in 2015, and through that period he showed a sense of humour, sometimes unusual for an employment law solicitor.
We don't fundraise, there's very little fundraising, so we rely on securing contracts through tenders, etc. And if you don't treat it like a business, you don't look at what your strengths and weaknesses are, the threats that are coming up.
We weren't really strong in tendering for contracts. The world of grant funding was moving. It was all competitively tendered contracts that were coming out. We needed to, sharpen our own skills.
We also reviewed how clients accessed us, how they came into the service in the first place. They used to get a telephone assessment, and we went back to the assessment being face-to-face because we felt they needed that connection in their first visit.
The core contracts that we have through NHS, commissioned by NHS, came up for retender in 2015, and they came out just at the end of, as we were coming out the end of the transformational change programme, relocation, rebranding. We managed to successfully win all of those contracts. That was a big moment for us.
2017 saw us expand our services even further. We secured joint partnerships with Future Pathways and the Distress Brief Intervention Service, as well as St Mungo's Academy's Nurturing Programme. Finally, we reached 2018. So far, we've had a royal wedding, a new Lifelink website full of self-help materials, and an expanded team of counsellors. Digital counselling is on the horizon, and we were shortlisted for numerous awards, even winning Business of the Year with the Association of Scottish Businesswomen.
Jackie has put her life and soul into Lifelink. To see her receive the award that night, on behalf of Lifelink, it was just such a great achievement and something that I think everyone was really proud of.
Lifelink's changed since being set up by a group of community women in 1992. Our roots are in Glasgow and will always be in Glasgow, but we now deliver services still in Glasgow, but in Renfrewshire, Western Bartonshire and North and South Lanarkshire. Today we support over 7,600 people every single year. We've
got to a place where, whilst not being complacent, the business is in a really good place, it's financially strong. I think looking back, it's incredible to have grown over the last 25 years, but still keeping the initial reason that Lifelink was created, still keeping that to the forefront of everyone's minds.
I'm very pleased that it helped such a tremendous amount of people. And the reason I say that is because I knew people, and I knew quite a few of them that it had helped, so I was hearing it from them.
Male client who was in his 60s had a really tough time, struggled with alcohol, his marriage had broken down, lots of things going on for him. So when I asked him, if our service wasn't here, what difference would that make? He said he'd have taken his own life, and that's why we do what we do.
After 25 years, Lifelink has become the largest provider of adult stress management services in Glasgow, and our strategic plan for 2019 to 2022 will see us develop digital solutions, secure our financial sustainability, and ultimately help more people along the way. Throughout our history, we have seen many changes, but throughout it all, we have stayed true to our core foundations and the reason we were founded. Our aim is, and always has been, to help people to find the tools within themselves to be better equipped to deal with difficult times.
We've established a really strong partnership with Lifelink to support us in our nurturing journey. Every school in Glasgow City Council is committed to making their school a nurturing school, and we believe that we need the expertise and the additional support from Lifelink to support our staff and support our young people. to make nurture a reality.
It was a service that eventually was embraced in an area where everybody thought, you've got to be joking, you know.
The success is down to the people that work here and the leadership that take them forward.
Happy birthday, Lifelink.
Happy birthday to Lifelink for 25 years.
Happy birthday.
Keep on the good work.
I wish them every success.
I'd want to thank staff for giving their time, their dedication to the work that they do, and to keep up the good work. You guys rock.